Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another bass effects review video. As you can hear, today we're getting to the very lush and pretty world of the Empress Reverb. This is a very dense but very small pedal, which I like a lot. It has a ton of reverb modes available in here, and I can only show you a few of my select favorites, so let's jump right into it. Real quick, here's my bass's dry tone Dingwall ABZ 6-string on the neck pickup. So at the beginning of the video, I showed a very long, big hall reverb. I really like hall reverb, so I want to show a few more. This is a much more tame setting that I would use for maybe some noodling or soloing work here. Let's hear a little bit of this same setting here with a little bit of overdrive from the Source Audio Aftershock. Let's crank that decay and mix back up a little bit to get closer to that long haul that I had at the beginning with some of this overdrive. Moving on to the plate settings. I actually don't use plate reverbs too often, but I found this particular preset in here kind of interesting. So one thing I haven't mentioned yet, the Reverb has 35 onboard presets, or you can have, I think, up to 128 via MIDI. And they're all totally accessible with just these 3 foot switches right here. So this is my first preset, so the knobs don't quite show what's happening under the hood, so to speak. So this is a very short plate reverb, almost acting kind of like a slapback echo, but reverb version of it. So with my dry bass, it sounds like this. Where I think where this effect really shines, though, is with some synth bass. So without the reverb on, this is my Boss OC2 and the Source Audio Aftershock. With this kind of slapback reverb, you get this nice broadening effect. Moving on to the spring settings. There's 3 different spring reverb settings. Yet again, I don't use springs a lot on bass. I tend to find them to be a little bit thin, but I like this one. It's got a cool character to it. It's an overdriven spring reverb, kind of like you would imagine in certain guitar amps. So with my dry bass, this is what that sounds like. Let's hear a little bit of that real quick with that same synth setting I had in the last clip. How about a little bit of room reverb? I don't use room reverbs too often because they tend to be a little bit too subtle to hear in a live setting, but they're great for studio work. One way I really like to use them is with a pick. I like this kind of short, almost slapback territory, again, kind of like I talked about with the plate setting that you get with a room reverb. So without the reverb, here is my signal that I'm playing with. And then here is with the reverb. So moving on to Sparkle. Sparkle is a fun setting. This is pseudo kind of like that shimmer effect you get from a few different effects boxes, but I think that the Empress's is very sweet. A lot of times it can be a little bit harsh, and they give you the control of the level and also the length of the shimmer, which I really like. So with my dry bass, here's a little bit of that shimmer effect. Let's hear those same 3 chords, but I'm going to lengthen the shimmer. All right, another setting where I personally would use this Sparkle setting would be with the Freeze Gliss on the HOG 2. Many people know I love the Freeze Gliss on the HOG 2. So here's a little bit of the Freeze Gliss without the Sparkle. Same 4 chords with the Sparkle Reverb. Moving on to the mod reverbs or modulation reverbs. These are very cool features, especially if you don't have other modulation pedals on your board. I personally would not use the mod too much because I like to run my own modulations into my reverbs, but they give you chorus, they give you flanger, which you actually can turn the mix down and basically run it as a straight chorus or a straight flanger, which is pretty cool. But one I really like is the tremolo reverb, and this is one that doesn't really sound the same as just running a tremolo into the reverb. So here's with my dry bass. This is another preset, by the way. This is my second preset. Here's some of that tremolo reverb with my dry bass. Now the cool thing here is my dry signal is not being affected by the tremolo. This is just the tails, and to really show that, I'll crank the mix all the way up. So here's just the reverb. Putting my dry signal back in. Another effect here that I really think shines with some synth bass work. It kind of gives you almost like a pseudo rhythmic arpeggiator vibe going along with your synth sound. Moving on to the ambient reverbs. This is a preset that I made. This is a completely wet swelling reverb. Many people who watch my channel know that I love textural effects, and this is a very lush, pretty swelling reverb. Moving on to delay plus reverb. This is another kind of one of the Swiss Army knife presets. If you don't have delay on your board, it's almost takes away the need for a delay pedal. So this particular mode allows you actually to control the blend between the delay and the reverb. So all the way right is just delay, which I can control the tempo of with this switch. All the way left, just reverb. And right in the middle, I get that lovely combo of delay plus reverb. Reverse reverbs. I don't use them very often, and every time I do use them, I think I should use them more. This is a particularly very cool reverse reverb, though. It's a gated reverse reverb. So after the reverb has finished its reverse cycle, it cuts off. And I think it's just a really interesting textural effect. So what I'm running into that is a harmonized signal from the Electro Harmonix HOG with a little bit of overdrive before it. Sounds like this. And now with this gated reverse reverb. Now we get to the very appropriately named ghost mode. It's a very spooky, resonant delay. Adds a very cool, just atmospheric, swooshing texture to whatever you play. I really like this with kind of solo harmonic work, so I'll play a little bit of a classic harmonic piece here. Here's without the reverb. And here's with this particular ghost setting. The ghost or spookiness is turned up all the way. It's actually resonant enough that it will self-oscillate almost. Which I don't think I've ever had a reverb pedal that can self-oscillate, so that's kind of fun. So the lo-fi reverb modes are a very cool texture, but I will admit I doubt many bass players would use them except for very special occasions because they cut tons of low end. But they do impart a very cool particular sound that I think would be fun for like the intro. So let me play a little bit of just some standard little chord progression here, but with this lo-fi mode, and I kind of get this 50s radio vibe going here. Going on to beer, because come on, it's called beer. I have to show what beer can do. So one of the settings in beer, as Empress states, beer is basically where they put all the stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else. But one setting in here is glitch, and it's just this glitched out, messed up reverb. So with my dry bass, this is what I'm getting, which already is very cool. Let's play with that a little bit. Just for fun, let's stick with this glitched out beer setting here and go into some full synthiness. So Boss OC2 into a gated fuzz into my Manta envelope filter from Source Audio. Without the reverb, it sounds like this. Into that glitched out beer mode. So hopefully you got a good idea of what the Empress Reverb is truly capable of and what it can add to your bass playing. As I said at the beginning of this video, it is a very dense pedal. I maybe touched 1/10 of the modes and sounds available, but I wanted to keep this video relatively short and sweet. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back very soon with more pedals and effects review videos as well as some performance videos. If you enjoyed, please subscribe below, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.